Hey everyone. So I've been wanting to do for a little while a video particularly for the ladies, as I am one and I can't really speak too much on behalf of the men about this. But gentlemen, please don't feel discluded, and my sincere hope and wish is that those amongst you that feel called to find good practice to assist yourselves to also achieve a state of creative enlightenment. But I've wanting to share been wanting to share with the ladies for some time now different practices that I have used that have helped me facilitate within my own being a state of creative enlightenment, not only in just achieving it but in maintaining it. So if you're wanting to know a bit more about creative enlightenment, please see the video I've made on that. It's called Love Part 1, Creative Enlightenment. And that is a more in-depth explanation than what I'm going to share here. And this video's purpose is how to get there. So creative enlightenment, in a short version, is the infinite creative possibility that we have the capacity to open up as both a man or a woman within our sacred housings or bodies. And it is the infinite cohesion and creative force that is the heart and the womb or the prostate together. And the soul is included in that as well. And the divine source and mother. For all who achieve that space. So, how to get there? The first thing that is very important to know, and probably the most valid key in all of this, is the heart and love. Without love, it is impossible to achieve such a space. The universe and the magical energy that we know as Creator Source and Divine Mother won't allow us to open up to the infinite possibilities of everything we are if we are not holding them within a space of absolute, unconditional love for all life. So the first thing that is beneficial for us to do is to work on opening, activating, aligning with, living through, and becoming one with our heart space, and therefore unity. And then this can interact more easily and help us to interact more easily with our sacred creative center. So for this video, and in particular with the ladies, we're discussing the womb. So a lot of us have had trauma within our sacred creative housing. And for me, one of the biggest things to shift out in my deeper interaction and relationship with my womb space or creative center was to shift out and heal a lot of shame, and to shift out and heal a lot of ancestral energy that had been creating and holding trauma within the space. And this can be done in multiple ways. First of all, as I've shared before, and I'm going to continue to share because it is pivotal to all, is intention. I've held a unmovable and very loving and compassionate and patient intention to heal in whatever way my womb needed, and in whatever way my yoni temple needed. And as you start to connect with your yoni, your temple, your womb space, you will continue to come into alignment with its knowing and with its worth and what it wants and how it wishes to move, how it wishes to proceed. And our best job in that is to listen and to pay attention to it, because its magic, its majesty, the vastness of what it contains is so often beyond our human comprehension. It is going to become your teacher as it has become mine if you allow it. And it is the capacity to heal worlds and to heal many multitudes of people if we allow that. What we are connected to in our cosmic housing and what we have capacity to heal is miraculous in nature, if we allow it to be such. Our best job is to listen. She will show you the way. So what we want to do in that sense is to open up a space for her. And some key tools that I've used to work more deeply with my own galactic housing, which is the womb, which is the cosmic consciousness that each woman is connected to, is to work with yoni eggs, which are crystals for the yoni space, and also to work with yoni steam. And that is a really beautiful clearing, healing, and is also very grounding and connecting. And this is something that all ladies can do. If you're a younger person coming into your cycle and you're a womanhood watching this, I ask you, and this goes the same for the yoni steam and the yoni eggs, please watch this video with your mum or with a lady that you trust if you're interested in taking part in any of these practices yourself. And I will give a word of caution in terms of if you're wanting to make your own yoni seat, be careful whose intention you allow to do so. The absolute best case scenario is that you either purchase one online or make one for yourself. If you're in a loving relationship with a physically intimate partner, you can choose for them to make one for you. But whatever intention is put in that seat, and yes, you can clear one that you've purchased online and set an intention in it yourself, but that intention is going to shift through your womb space. And we have to be selective in what we choose to create within our sacred housing, or what we choose to shift. And what we open up in that space when we steam is the cosmic consciousness and reality of all that is, all that we have ever seen as women on this earth, and in all platforms that we have ever existed, in all timelines, in all states of our being. And this culmination of knowing, of knowledge, of truth, of wisdom, of healing medicine, and of everything that we are and have the capacity to hold is within this space. And for each lady, what they receive in knowing, what their womb is going to teach them, what they are going to open up to, what they are going to share with themselves, with their soul, with their heart, is totally unique. And this is the gift and the blessing and the miracle of the womb. We each hold different medicine. The intention that you hold in that space for yourself, for your sacred space, mine, is to open up, to heal, to transform, to shift out energy that is blocking the divinity of my creative force, and to unify across all platforms that is my womb space and the multi-galactic housing that is my yoni and my creative sacred space. And the more we shift, the more we transform, the more we transmute, the more we have not only the capacity to transform for others, but the more we have the capacity to open up to. A lot of the time, from what I have seen in my own experience, is that certain things will be creating blocks to incredibly sacred accesses and energies. For example, shame. For me, shifting up the shame of my sacred creative housing allowed me to open up to the multi-galactic knowing it held. And what shifts shame? What transforms and what transmutes all these things? Unconditional love and non-judgment for whatever it is your womb needs, whatever it is that is brought through into the space. And trust me when I say to you, you are not going to ever walk through or experience something you don't have within your capacity also to heal. The lessons are gifts to you to expand your medicine space and creative housing into everything that it has the capacity to be. Let it become empowering to you. And see it as medicine to be gained and to be claimed, and not as wounding. And that doesn't mean don't acknowledge it while it is wounding. But as soon as we change the intention, we refocus, and then we allow a place for transformation, for all that is sacred within us to take us home again. There. I'm shifting energy for us all as we sit together. And I'm grateful for everybody that's chosen to sit in this space. And we each need to remember we hold that. The capacity to shift for masses, for multitudes, for vast galaxies if we choose it and if we are destined to. And for everything we hold in our own being and in our midst. That is profound. And that is the ancient truth of love that we all hold within us. And we have all been created to master this life force, energy and truth. And this oneness is ours to attain if we choose it. And if we deem ourselves worthy of being one and whole. Which we each by nature are. We have to claim it. And this taking back of everything that was not claimed previously is the empowerment of all humanity and the freedom we so seek and the love we have so sought and the wisdom we need to hold. And every truth and everything we could have ever wished for. Lots of energy to shift. Very beautifully said. Intention. Intention. And as soon as we allow space of intention for it to, it has already started to. And then we can transform and transmute and become whole. And that is a gift to give to ourselves and to all. Okay. What to steam with? Let your yoni decide. I like herbs. Sometimes I work with plants like salvia. I find them nice, as they are an ancient herb of divination. They can help you come into a space of whimsying. I like essential oils. I like rose water. I've used cinnamon recently, and that was a nice one for head clearing for me, apparently. I asked my yoni why. That's the answer I received. There was something foggy up here that wanted to shift with the cinnamon. It worked. It knows. And do enough hot water with whatever you choose. And there are many other YouTube tutorials on how to steam, so you don't burn yourself, but that it is also meditative and comfortable, and that it feels nice. It's very grounding, I find. And let them help you unlock and help you clear and undo. So that's what the steam is for. If you're doing a smoking ceremony, it's going to have the opposite effect. And I know there are a lot of ancient cultures that take part in smoking ceremonies for the yoni. I mean, no disrespect to you. This is only my knowing and what I have found. So please do what's right for you and experience the difference. See what it is that comes through if you feel called to do that. Okay, so I keep being shown, and we'll close with this. The only other point of reference that is important for us, especially as we're coming into a unification of our sacred spaces, we are connected to many vast multitudes, potentially, of energies. And oftentimes, a lot of them will need to be cleared and shifted out of the creative sacred space so we can work more fully with it. And this comes from the knowing that in the womb, we are connected to every physically intimate partner we've ever had, every set of parents we've ever had, both masculine and feminine, and all children or energies we've ever birthed, even if they haven't come through full term, even if they are not physically incarnated as women, we have the capacity to birth energetically. So, for example, the company Opulence, which my twin created together, was something I have held the medicine for, and still hold the medicine for, and physically isn't the right word. Yes, physically through the elixirs themselves, but no, they have not come out of me. Thankfully. I don't have capacity to create glass in there, I think. Energetically birthed. And that was expansive in itself. Now, where was I before I get too lost in the reflection of whether or not it is possible to birth glass? Anyway, so where was I? Okay, our connections to all of these energies. And often if they have been traumatic experiences or connecting to energies of separation or that hold separation. So say, for example, we have a physically intimate partner and they hold a lot of distortion or separation within their own spheres and fields. We then take in their DNA codex into our own womb space and being, and we hold that. And that never leaves. And we're left with two options, either to succumb to it or to transform it. And across the span of lifetimes, that can equate to a lot of transformation that is needing to take place for us to come into a more unified space of reality within our own womb. And that's okay. That means once you're done, you're going to hold vastly more medicine. But it's also important to have the awareness of that so that you have full awareness of what you're bringing into your sacred space and into your housing. Even when we choose to love mate, that can be transformative within our own being. It can be really beautifully expansive and very unifying, or it can be incredibly disruptive, ultimately painful and unnecessary in some senses. So something to be wise with. And the purer we keep our space, and the more unified we keep our space, the more transformational we're able to be within ourselves. And love will show us this. And she will show you that too. Your own yoni and sacred space. She knows what she needs to heal herself. Okay, there we go. We'll close with that. So, creative enlightenment for a woman arrives in the state of the goddess. And so the goddess is the maiden, the mother, and the crone, or the ancient face. And they all interlock. And one doesn't work without the other, and the other doesn't work without one. And they feed us back our realities in a way and form that is timeless and never ending. And they allow us to become. And this is the ultimate oneness and freedom within the womb space. And in that, I'll add a wisdom, trust who you will allow to teach you, or who you allow in your womb or sacred space. As another woman, there are many teachings and teachers out there presently wanting to share the knowing of the goddess. Not all are at the level of attainment in themselves too. Not all have good intentions. But trust your own yoni and womb shall guide you to where you need to go. I think that's enough. Wow, that's long. Mother doesn't rush. And I feel like all of that's important, knowing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there are gentlemen watching, thank you for sharing a space with me. I'm grateful to you. Love, Victoria.